Who decides where the music goes in films and what it should sound like? I'm currently working on 2 different projects that are using completely different approaches to this. And today I'm going to walk you through the process and I'm going to tell you which one is better. Hello, my name is Adam Hessebom. I am a composer and a musician. I'm based in Malmö, Sweden. And today we're going to talk about how to decide where the music goes in films and what the music should sound like. I'm working on 2 projects right now, 2 film projects, and I wanted to talk about the different approaches we have used to decide where the music goes. Now, I can't talk like specifics because they're both in post-production, but that's not important because I wanted to give like some real-life examples. So first, we have Project A. And for this project, I received a locked picture. That means that the cut is not going to change. What's in there is in there. Now, what might change is, sound effects, sound design, Foley, visual effects, color grading, and then of course my music, because all of this is happening at the same time to the picture. But the timing of each cut will not change on this project. Now, when this film was still in edit, I received some rough cuts. I think I even read the script, and I created like a thematic suite of melodic themes for the different characters. And that means that the themes are already established between me and the filmmaker. And once the edit was complete, we had a spotting session. Now, a spotting session is when you sit down with the filmmaker, you watch the film together, and you discuss and you take notes, and together you decide where the music should go. That means that you will note in points and out points and the function of the music. Now, I don't do this like approximate. I do it very exactly. I will write down in SMPTE code, hours, minutes, seconds, and frames, the in points and the out points of the music. And I will ask the director questions. What is this character feeling when they walk in here? What's the motivation of this character? What's the underlying emotions in this scene that we are not aware of? When you receive the locked picture, there can be a temp score, which means that the editor has put in some temporary music to edit to that they cannot use in the final product. In this score, there was no temp music, but the filmmaker had some references that I listened to. And we talked about these references and this scene should play a little bit like this scene from this famous movie. So in the end, I have a list of cues, and a cue is, a musical piece, and a lot of cues make up a film score. So I have this list of cues, and they have in points and out points, and lots of notes about the characters' motivations, their feelings, and some very concrete examples of what the music should sound like in this particular scene. Sometimes the filmmaker has even, I want a violin, or I want the trumpet here, So with that, I have some building blocks. I have a list of the cues, references, in-out points, and I have my melodic themes. And then it's just getting to work. And the way I do it is I use a second software. I used to do it in Pro Tools, now I do it in VideoSync, at least I'm trying out VideoSync. And then I score the picture in Logic. Now, why don't I import the film into Logic? Well, that's because I don't want the entire sound and movie file of the film in every Logic session. If, God forbid, something changes, then I have to go into every Logic session and change the movie file or something. That's just not practical, and the files will be huge. And you will do a number of versions of every cue, and it will ramp up dramatically in file size and just cluttering up the hard drive. Also, if I do it in another program, then I can reference my own work. If I want to just have a listen to what key I ended the previous cue in, I can just go back and listen. Very easy. So that's why I keep the movie file and the music files separate in 2 different software, which syncs internally in the computer. Then it's fairly easy. I have the in point, so I will just input the in point in Logic, and it will sync up to the picture. Easy. Once I'm done with the cue, I upload it to QDB, which is a very good software for keeping track of your work and the process, and also the communication with the filmmaker. So in QDB, the filmmaker can view my work and they can like comment on the timeline what they think. Like they can drop a comment on a specific point and say, I don't like the sound of this thing here. So that's very convenient. Then the filmmaker will give me some feedback and I will make a new version, and this will go back and forth. And eventually all the cues have received an approval from the filmmaker. Now this project, it's a small client, independent filmmaker, but on large scale studio works, there can be a big number of people that needs to approve everything. But I have not worked on such a project. And once all the cues have been approved, I can mix the music and I can deliver the music. Now, let's move over to project B, and this is using a completely different approach. So I am currently composing the music at the same time that the editor is editing the picture. The picture is not locked, and actually the picture lock deadline will be almost simultaneous as the music delivery deadline. So the way we do this is that we have sat down and we have discussed what kind of music they need, like in general terms, like different emotions, or if they have a sequence they know they will be in the picture. And I will try to make some demos and send it to the production, and then they can edit to my music. Then they will eventually come to a point where they need some adjustments in the music, and then I adjust the music, I send it, and then they can edit to my new version. And in this way, the edit and the music, they will like grow together in this sort of symbiotic relationship. It's a very organic kind of growth. And this is a very interesting way to work because I can be in the editor's head while they are editing the film. And I think for me that's good. And I think it's also good for the editor to have the actual music growing together with their edit. As you hear, these are two very different approaches, but there are some very important similarities. Now, on both projects, I'm working as this sort of one-man operation. I will compose the music, I will record the music, I will mix the music, I do everything by myself. But most importantly, both of these projects included, a lengthy discussion about what the music should sound like and what the music should do. We needed to sit down and talk about the story, about the characters' feelings, their motivations, their fears. And I think this is important because in order to make a good film score, you need to understand the filmmaker's intention with the films fully so that you can support their intention and their vision. Part of the process is immersing yourself in the story and in the characters on screen. Now, while you support the filmmaker's vision, it's important that you also contribute with your own insights. That's why the filmmaker chooses to work with a human being. So which of these processes is the best one? Is it the locked picture, just checking off a list of cues, or is it the organic edit and music working together and growing together? And the answer is, it's both. I think each project should choose a method that works best for that particular project. On some projects, the making a cue sheet and working to a locked picture is the far best option. But on some projects, the other method is the best one. In the beginning of a new project, a new collaboration, I think it's important to have a discussion about the method and the process of making that music. Now, sometimes there might be practical reasons for doing it one way or the other. Maybe you only have a small time frame that you can work full time with that project, and sometimes the project will run for a long time but you're not working full time with it, and then that will dictate that approach. So I'm curious, have you used any of these methods or any other methods? Then drop a comment below, I would be so interested to read them. If you thought this was interesting, then you should give this a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, then do so, because I upload videos on topics just like this one every week. And until the next one, cheers!